Hi, welcome back to Tao of Twine. I'm Dave. So we got that 14-day thing over on YouTube wrapped up, and man, it was a good thing. I feel like I'm just more practiced and kind of dialed in myself after doing all of that. It really, I had to do the things I was talking about, right? And I had to kind of not just think about them, and make the lesson plans, but I had to like sit and do it, and it was a good little lesson. Just, man, that stuff pays off. There's triads, arpeggios, just warming up in some kind of, organized way. It just goes so far. So today, this is going to be what I call off to the side work. We're not playing a tune over a backing track or whatever. You could. Earlier, I put this little looper I got on myself and just played a G, or I'm sorry, a C7. All this will be C7. Little vamp or something, and tried some of this stuff out just to have some fun. But for the most part, I just sat and kind of, walked around these arpeggios and put these sliding into the major third licks, which is what this is really about today. And then I wrote out, one sequence, but it kind of travels through the three main shapes of the C7 chord or arpeggio that we're going to deal with today. So let's get into it. Now, the one thing I will say about this is that, when you look at this tab here in a few minutes, it just shows you the sequence. And it does have a few little places where there's an S in between a couple of notes, the slide, right? And that's just to show you, just to accentuate that we're looking at sliding into that third, but it also might be to change positions, okay? But the timing of it will be different whether you give that slide like the time value of a note, or whether you just kind of grace note it and just use it as an embellishment, right? Try to really remain open to all the possibilities that could go on with that, okay? And even when I'm doing this demonstration stuff today, it's going to be different, right? I'm not going to play. It's not going to add up to the exact place in the measure the same and everything, okay? And we're not using a backing track, so we have even more freedom to just kind of do what we want with this. And the important thing here is to get used to the sound and get familiar with the physical moving around between these shapes. And so the shapes I'm referring to would be a C7 dominant 7 arpeggio. If you're not up to speed on that, or it's, you need to chunk it out a little bit, divide it into octaves. Okay, that's a good way to do that. If you need to chunk it down even further into its parts and pieces than that, do it with triads. Add that flat seventh above the triad. Okay, practice it however you want. You can go up to the octave or just up to the seventh. You could go. Or. Okay, what did I do? Well, or that, whatever that was. Hold on. What I meant to do, I think, was. I guess the first one I did, I went up to the octave, right? So sort through all the mishaps there of the way I just spoke about that. Those are the two options. Either filling it out by going to the octave and coming back down, or just up to the seventh. Right? And both of those sounds are important. Sometimes you want to go all the way up. Sometimes you just want to go to one of the chord tones before you reach that second octave. Okay. I'm not going to edit that out and everything because it's just part of the process. It's just not that important to do it just like somebody's doing it in a video in an instruction. That's just not right. So now here's some stuff you can kind of hang your hat on. Again, you know this is just one person's kind of habits or whatever about this, but check this out. Let's just stay on this one for now. Then we'll do the other two shapes. Okay, so what's going on here is I'm doing the arpeggio, and you're warmed up on the arpeggio by now, right? And this, ideally. This little enclosure, it's called, where I'm going, if you want to talk numbers, it's the fourth, then it's one above the major third, then one below, then the target. And technically it's the fourth minor third, major third. I don't like to think of it that way because then it just runs into all kinds of extra problems to think about. Minor third, major third. The point is that we're looking for a major third. Right? And the really cool thing about this, we're not going to let this take us down the rabbit hole here, is that when you play minor pentatonic, you don't always move it up to the major third. You let it go. Right? And then then right in the mix with that, you do go to the major third. Look out for like maybe next week or another video, and we'll start to mingle that more like we have in some previous videos. Do yourself a favor though and stick to this major third sliding and this enclosure business and practice it. Okay, don't try to just if you're real comfortable with it and you're kind of already used to it, okay, go ahead and just start making a deeper exploration and implementation of it in your blues playing and stuff. But a lot of us out there, we just practice this. Just like that, okay? Or something close to that. Shape 2. Exact same notes. And again, you could go up to the root, you could just stop on the 7th, you could turn around in there anywhere you want and go the other way. It's like a half pipe. You can go all the way up, come back, you can go part of the way, do whatever you want. But, again, if you need to, chunk it out. Look for those octaves and isolate those smaller groupings, right? And that's how you're going to remember it, okay? A friend of mine named Dave, we were talking the other day, online playing some guitar, and he's like, it's like the phone number thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Our mind needs to change. That's why they made the phone numbers like that. Actually, I remember this from psychology, my degree back in college. If you put those 7 numbers out there, nobody could remember their phone number. Put that dash in there, boom, da 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 da. You probably remember the first phone number you ever had at your parents' house or something, right? I do. Wonder if I should call them. But it wouldn't be my parents. So you see if somebody answered that phone. That'd be silly. So the third one. Right. Now, okay, wait a second. What was that little dipping down here? Well, if you want to, you can, and again, don't get sidetracked. with stuff that's going to bog you down. The first thing you want to do is start on the root. So just forget about the sixth string at first and start here. But just remember, any position you can keep going. I might have put an extra note in there. Well, let's see. Well, I'm putting that fourth in there because my ear now is dialed into that. You know, when I make that enclosure in any of these positions. Right, couldn't really go down and finish it there because you run out of notes. But so again, we're just talking about the arpeggios so far, and I've mentioned in this position up here about the enclosing the major third with that one above, one below, and then sliding in or hammering. So you can guess where we're going here, right? It's the same thing in all of these situations. If you don't do it every time when you're practicing this, don't worry about it, right? Don't even necessarily try to memorize what all of them look like, but just take the time here and there to say, well, wait a minute, where's that third? You'll get it because it just feels right, right? You'll just, it'll like Dave, my friend again said the other day. It's like, man, I've been doing this, and I've been really sticking to it for a few days, and like it's just clicking. It's just like everywhere I go now, that third's just getting locked in there like that, and that's a good sound. That's a good thing. When you get up and running, later on with a fuller improvisational approach, you're not doing it the same way every time or whatever, or every time you run by the third. But for now, you just wear that sucker out. There's no way you can overdo it. Okay. So now I've got a tab up here. And like I said, use it, as a path, but don't get too stuck on it. But I'm gonna try to play through it myself here. Right, that last little part's not on the tab, but leave that up there on the screen for a second. Just, let me know if that just makes sense, how to follow that, okay? Because it's not a tab maker that gives you like every piece of timing and rests and so forth, right? But I think it'll get you there. And again, when you see a slide, I didn't put pull-offs and stuff in it because you can just do that wherever you want. A lot of times I start off, or I'll tend to kind of look into something just using the principle that wherever I can pull off, I will, right? There's a slide down, right? And that's important, that one, because that's how you're getting from this shape to that one. And then later on it goes. See how that's starting to get laced together, those three, whether you're going up or down, all right? You got to go slow with this. And everything's not going to be adding up to like a perfect 16th and everything's a 4-beat, this and that. Don't worry about it. Really get in a free space when you're doing this. When we keep going with this later on and we put it more into like a blues format and stuff, we'll straighten it out. We'll sort it out, right? And make it into more usable licks that conform to the 12 bar form. Okay. But for now, just walk that path and just, get used to that moving around. Use whatever fingers you like. I don't care if you're using two fingers, five, switching them out, right? Just let your hand explore it in a really natural way. That'll help you more than sitting there and policing your hand all the time about it, right? When there's a problem, you'll know it and stop and work out something sensible to get from that where you need to get where you need to go, right? And you can do it. Trust yourself with that. It'll work out. I think that's it. There's no backing track or anything. This PDF is attached below. Okay, so use that. But first and foremost, break it down, chunk it out. Bone numbers, triad, seventh arpeggio, triad, seventh arpeggio in different places, and then map out the three shapes. I didn't make diagrams of them. Get you out a piece of paper or one of these chord chart makers online or whatever. Write it down for yourself. It'll do you 10 times more good than if I do it for you. All right? Let me know how this goes. Appreciate you. Have a good weekend. If you're in the United States and you're a football fan, have fun. All right. See ya.